Hi everyone, it's Valerie from Stampin' with Valerie, and today we are going to be doing a pretty easy little semi-watercolor technique today using Beautiful Friendship. Now this stamp set I've had for a while and I haven't had a chance to use it, and as you can see it already has kind of a watercolory texture to it. That's what I love about this stamp set, but I also wanted to just do something a little bit different and play around with it. So I did some experimenting a little while ago and we're going to use the technique I tried. I'm going to set the stamp set aside and we're going to start with the large stamp with that flower. I guess I'll set my cardstock aside. We don't need that yet. And I'm just going to throw some paper towel under it because we're going to be spraying some water and we want to make sure we don't get it everywhere. Hi Angie, hi Christine, how are you? Thank you for joining. I'm going to use three colors today. We're going to use So Saffron, Soft Sea Foam, and Seaside Spray. Now I just thought these three colors looked really pretty together. That's why I chose them. Make sure, I think you can see everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to get, oh shoot, I probably should have refilled this, but we're going to use what water we have left in the mister. And I'm using watercolor paper, and I'm just going to stamp the large floral image a few times on here because we want to make sure we have lots of this Seaside Spray color because it's really, really pretty. Flip this around. I'm just going to kind of do this to the side a little bit. And then we're going to take the smaller flower and use the So Saffron, and we're just going to stamp some of the smaller flowers in here on here, and you can see it already has, like I said, that little bit of that watercolor texture just from the design of the stamps. And then we'll use the Soft Sea Foam and put some leaves on here. Hi Ingrid, how are you? And just to give it a little more color, and I thought about putting a fourth color on it, but I really just like the way it looks with these three colors. And I add a lot of green in there because I like the green. Green's my favorite. Okay, and then just set your ink pads aside because you don't want to spray any water on them. And then I kind of hold it up just a little bit and spray into it because it's easier to do it that way. And just saturate it really with water and kind of lay it down as it gets a little more wet, just because that you don't have the ink colors running everywhere. Now they aren't going to run as much like this as they would if we had sprayed directly onto the stamp, but it runs just a little bit just to give it a little more of a watercolor wash. And then I just take my paper towel and just dab the water up so it'll dry a little bit faster. And then it just gives it, you can see how it lifts some of that ink off. It just gives it a little bit of a softer look, even more so than just the regular stamping. And now it's gonna, and if I spray the back, I keep forgetting to tell people to spray the back with water afterwards and it'll help uncurl it a little bit. But again, I should have refilled my water spritzer. I didn't have quite enough. But you can see it start to lay down, and I'll let it lay down all the way and then I'll dab that water off from it. Now, what I did, oh look, it's already down already. I went ahead and made another one of these earlier. Let me see, where did I set it? That's the question, where did I set it? Right here, using the same technique. And this piece of watercolor paper is dry, so we can set this one off to the side to dry now, and we don't have to worry about it. I've got an extra one there. And I wanted to use the Soft Sea Foam as the background because I think it's just such a pretty color. It is one of the current in colors. So if you want it, it will be available through, well, it's for this current catalog and the next current annual catalog. Hi Lois, thanks for joining. Then go ahead and get our cardstock. I'm not even cutting it, I'm still scoring it apparently. Get our piece of cardstock ready. And I wanted to use, because this is watercolor paper, I didn't want to go with Whisper White with it. I wanted to use Very Vanilla for our sentiment. Now, I could have also used just a piece of watercolor paper, but since I'm not really watercoloring on this piece, I don't want to waste any of my watercolor paper because it's more expensive. All right, now I gotta find my punch that's been sitting on my desk all day. All right, so this is the Label Me Fancy punch, I believe. It's either Label Me Fancy or Label Me Lovely. It's one of those. I can't remember which one it is, but it's in the January mini catalog. And so on this, we want to stamp the sentiment, birthdays are the best days. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in the Seaside Spray ink, so it'll match the cardstock. I'm sorry, as I was doing this, I'm not sure if I said hello. Sandy, hi. I think I said hello, but I'm not sure, just in case I didn't. All right, and then I'm gonna grab just a scrap piece of Seaside Spray because we wanna punch another one of these Label Me Lovely pieces, because we're gonna make a little bit of a background for this. Because it looks a little bit plain, just on the Very Vanilla like that. And so, obviously, if I just lay these on top of each other, you're not gonna have a background that it's gonna fit the exact same because it's the exact same punch. But if you take your scissors and just cut this one in half, flip it over, put just a little bit of adhesive at the top and the bottom, and then take one of your pieces, layer it at the top, so it's just coming out just a little bit. Now it's not gonna go over your sides because we cut it this way, horizontally. If we would have cut it vertically, then your frame would be over toward the sides, but we want it going this way because it looks cute this way. And there you have it. It's just got a little frame around it now. So easy. Too easy. Almost too easy. I won't say too easy because then we would end up, something will go horribly wrong while I'm making this card. All right, I want to use this, one of these other little small, I don't know what these are, but they're just like little blossoms of some sort. And I'm gonna use that Seaside Spray again. And I'm just gonna stamp a couple onto our little label. We'll bring these ones coming down just to add a little more to it. I think it's cute like that. Maybe a little bit of green on there, a little bit of the soft seafoam would be good too. Have some little leaves next to our blossoms that we just put on there. Actually, make sure I've got that one inked because I'm getting a little bit more on there. And I think that'll be good. I don't think we necessarily need the soft seafoam on there. And I want to use some of the beautiful scalloped lace trim because it's just a gorgeous trim. And I haven't used it in a long time, so I thought this would be the perfect project for it. And then we're gonna use some pearls too because this just looks like one of those kind of cards that needs pearls, right? So I will take this piece and I am gonna put dimensionals on the back of it because I want this raised up. Hi Christine, how are you today? And I'll probably end up putting 9 on here, more than I normally would put, but because this water, maybe even a little bit more than 9, I'll just put this one here. Hi Denise, how are you? And let's see how that, I want to make sure it's not going to look, it's going to hold it down, so when I kind of push it that way, I know where it's going to stick. But this is a little more than I would normally use, but like I said, because this is the watercolor paper, it's a little bit thicker. You want to make sure it holds it down and doesn't let it like bow up or bow down, and you just kind of want it all over. And then I like to stand up sometimes just to make sure I get it centered, because sometimes I'm a little bit wonky. Those of you who know me personally know that. And I can hear a couple of you ladies laughing in the background. Hi, Grissy, how are you? All right, so what I want to do is just, I don't really want to tie a bow. I want to just layer it kind of in, I guess you would call it an S shape or a Z shape across the card. And I'm not going to trim the ends yet, but to get it to stay on here, I will just do a small vertical piece of snail adhesive. Oh, doing it the wrong way. I want the lace facing down. And then we'll go this way first. Then just cross it over and just stick that layer down. Do the same here, just cross this little piece over and stick it down, and that'll hold it in place in the center. And then you don't have to worry about trying to hold it there while you are getting your sentiment added. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little angle at the end of each piece of the lace. Nothing super fancy, because you could do like a banner tail at the end of this, but it just doesn't quite look right because of the lace. I know Chrissy has used this stamp set before because she has made some gorgeous cards with it. Have any of you other ladies used this stamp set before? Want this stamp set? Love this stamp set? I'll put it back on camera so you can see it in case some of you missed it. It's called Beautiful Friendship. It's a really great stamp set. I love everything about it. The sentiments, the images, the fact that it's got that watercolory look to it. Go ahead and put your sentiment down in the center. And then all we're gonna do is do a couple of pearls. And I'm even gonna use, I don't use the largest ones that often, but I kind of think this one needs. And I like to do two next to each other for some reason with the pearls. And I wanna make it symmetrical. Let's make it symmetrical. I usually try to do odd numbers, but I kind of like how that looks with that symmetrical, a couple of the little pearls, each of those going that way. Yes, Chrissy, I know it's one of your favorites. I've seen you've made so many gorgeous cards with it, and I keep saying, I need to use this, I need to use this, and I finally did. So I'm so excited I used it. So then all we'll do for the inside is just a piece of Whisper White. And because I still want it to kind of match, I'm just gonna stamp a little bit in this corner. Now it's not gonna be quite as light because this is not being spritzed with water. And this is on the Whisper White paper versus the vanilla color that the watercolor paper is. So it's just gonna be a little bit darker, but that's okay. It's gonna look gorgeous either way. All right, so there you have it. That is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I wish I had time to do a second card, but I need to get ready to do another video on my business page today. And also I have some card prep that I need to do for my online card class. If you're interested in my online card class for the month, it is called the April to Go class, and it is in my events. I also have a kids class that is a dinosaur card class that is also listed in my events. Just click that you're going, contact me, I will get in touch with you, and I will make sure you get your kits. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure you visit me at ValerieSmith.stampinup.net to purchase your Beautiful Friendship stamp set so you can make one of these cards. And I will see you next time. Bye.